My older son is an amazing child. He has a huge vocabulary, which he had at a very young age, unusually so, in fact. He was, at 2.5, he was going to be a paleontologist, and he had his own theory on how dinosaurs became extinct. But what he was unable to do, even though he was reading at an early age, was hold a pencil.
The teachers would come to me and say, everybody's cleaning up at cleanup time, and she just sits there and keeps playing.
He had difficulty remembering letters of the alphabet, remembering how to write his name.
These children are smart. They're sometimes very talented and gifted, and they do not do well. They struggle and sink.
You look at your child and they're perfect. There's nothing wrong with your child. So when you're given a label of something, it takes you back.
I broke down in tears, thinking of the future that they might not have.
It was like a devastating moment for me.
Smart Kids was founded in order to help parents who are just coming to these issues to understand what they're about.
Smart Kids takes all the gobbledygook of all the professionals and puts it in real language and talks about the real impact on kids and families and provides guidance in usually a few simple steps about what you can do to help your child.
I was in a million different directions, and then when I found Smart Kids, I really had a lot of guidance.
I think the most important thing about Smart Kids for me is that it provides me with a community.
Kids with learning disabilities can have very bright or very dim futures when they look around them and see other kids able to do things that they cannot. And when their inability to do their schoolwork is blamed on them, and they are told that they are lazy, or they are bad, or there is something wrong with them, if they internalize that message, they will believe it.
So you have to work with the disability and hopefully find an accompanying abilities that offset the difficulties or the disability. This is something that Smart Kids really does that I don't think any other organization does, which is to say that you focus on the strengths and the positive things that a child brings to the table, and you use the strengths to build up the difficulties and the weaknesses.
There are huge numbers of kids with dyslexia who end up being our finest engineers, architects, in the field of entertainment, many fine athletes, scientists, doctors. Our mission is to, as I say, inspire parents to let them know that these kids, once they make it through school, they can end up being hugely successful.
The best predictor of a child's success is a parent doing everything in his or her power to get information, resources, and finding whatever they can to help that child succeed. And that's where Smart Kids has really been so incredibly important in parents' lives and in children's lives.
What I learned from Smart Kids was that I really was raising the whole child, not just a child who had a disability or who had struggles, but that it was important to raise him as a whole.
Smart Kids has provided me an enormous amount of empowerment as a parent.
I gained the skills that I needed to become an advocate for them, and in so doing, my children have a different path in life.
So many people have tremendous gifts, and we have to allow them to realize these gifts rather than marginalizing them.
The best advice that I ever got once Mitchell was diagnosed is believe in him. Believe in him, no matter what. When he doesn't listen to what you're saying, when the tests come back all wrong, from school, when he doesn't get invited to the birthday parties, when everything's going wrong, believe in him. Just because if you don't believe in him, if you don't believe that he can do it, then he's not going to believe he can do it.
You need to have that hope and know that at the end you're going to get there. But you're going to get there through this knowledge and support of a wonderful organization like Smart Kids.
I felt like they were my beacon, my guiding light. I felt like I was lost in a sea. And all of a sudden, this organization came around, and there is no other one out there like this that will help parents. If you have a child like this, where do you turn? There is no other organization. I know, because I've looked.